Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, thanks.
Is this your first time here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty rad.
It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
We shot bows. We worked out. We didn't work out. I learned a lot about target archery. There's some nuance, is what I would say.
Still a lot for you to learn.
Yeah.
A lot.
Let's just recap all the dumb stuff I was doing. Number one,
Your scope's pointing to the moon.
scope was pointing to the moon. That's probably not good.
Uh-huh.
Had a pin instead of a dot.
Pin's fine.
No, it's not. No one does that.
A lot of people do
Name one person who does Paige
that. Paige, Matthias,
do a pin or a dot?
Jacob Marlowe, they all run pins.
Losers. What does Bodie do? He runs. When did you switch to a dot?
I've always ran a dot.
Okay. What does Joel do?
I shoot bare bow.
Arrow point.
I got a big old arrow point sticking out there right at the bottom of the gold.
You scored a 290 something with a bare bow?
292 is my best, yeah.
How'd you do in the tournament last year?
Which one?
The Vegas tournament.
Vegas, I was 10th.
Okay, so you got
In
ranked.
championship bare bow, yeah.
Yeah. How'd you do in
Lancaster, I lost my last elimination match by 1x to the guy that eventually won it.
That's fair.
Yeah, he's a good shooter, but it can be done for sure.
What else? We're going to talk about some target archery today because it's kind of like that time of year where target archery is about to go down, which is weird because I know both of you pretty well, and I would say you guys both love archery, but you both love hunting way more.
Yeah.
So it's here we are. Hunting season's kind of over. Is this just kind of? Have you guys gotten used to the flow of like winding down hunting season, and then I guess how do you ramp up for target?
Yeah, it starts in November, really. So
Okay.
you're dealing with whitetail rut. Hello, dog. You're dealing with whitetail rut, and then, you got our first tournament is the first weekend in December.
Where dogs, get out of here. Alicia, if you're watching, this is all your fault. I'm trying to run a professional business. I'm trying to do podcasts for a living. I'm trying to have good, high quality. Luna, get out of here. So when you're whitetail hunting, which shout out to your whitetail footage, I want to talk about how the hell you filmed that.
Oh, yeah.
That footage turned out really
It was
good.
rad.
Bodie, are you like morning, evening sits and then midday doing some rounds? Like, how does it work?
I just hunt mule deer. I don't really whitetail hunt very much.
Loser.
So he was done. I mean, he had his mule deer from Montana by September. So
When did you shoot that Washington muley?
That was November 21st, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so really, when does the boy commit to target?
Typically, I set up an indoor bow around August. Just so that way, I mainly stick to shooting my hunting bow, but I do shoot my target bow when I'm bored or have free time.
Okay.
So I'll start working on it for sure in September.
Mm-hmm.
Earliest I've set it up is like July.
Yeah.
Just I'm bored and don't have any more. As soon as outdoor season's done, I fine-tune my hunting bow and start setting up my target bow, my indoor bow.
How much have you changed coaching-wise? Like, obviously, when he was a 11-year-old pounding 300s, you were there, hoping and stuff. And when he won Vegas the first time, you were there. But, like, how he's growing up right before our very eyes.
Yeah,
So, like,
right.
how does that work? Like, less and less?
yeah, I never really did coach Bodie. I never sat him down like, okay, we're doing this. He saw the success of other people with me teaching. I mean, he was my shooter in my clinics. Like, he would do my exhibition shooting for me.
Gotcha.
At the age of 4. Right? That's where he started. I wanted to get him in front of people as much as possible to get the nerves out and to get all those things happening. So
That's pretty damn smart, Joel.
Right. So, I mean, we know that public speaking is, or not public speaking, but public humiliation is the highest level of human fear. So I wanted to get him inoculated to that early. So there he is at 4 years old, just slinging arrows in the center with his little longbow with a clicker on it, right? Because I knew the path that he needed to go down.
Yeah.
When he started punching a trigger at 3 years old, when I bought him his first compound, what did I do? I got him a tension activated release at 3 years old. So this is the way you do it. By the age of 6, he could shoot any release on the market.
Yeah.
Even the worst ones with the nastiest triggers, you put that in front of Bodie, and he knows he's going to run that trigger slow enough he could stop it. That's just how we did business, right? So he learned through me coaching others. And that's the best way, because parents coaching kids, their own kids, is not usually the way it goes. And I watch it constantly. And, there is this whole industry of archery coaching that is very, it's like you've got kids that are kind of prodigies, and then you've got everybody else that just wants a coach, and there's coaches out there that will take your money. But are they teaching the right skills, right? Because you put them in the NAS program, the National Archery in the Schools program. That system is wrought with target panic. And yes, it introduces kids to shooting, but they instantly start to lock off the target. They release too early. It's just a nightmare system to start kids on. And very few of them stay in it afterwards. We want retention in the sport. If you want retention in the sport, they've got to get past the frustration and get control of their shot. So with Bodie, we got him a tension activated release at 3 years old.
That's
and
crazy.
this was the infancy, that was 2010. And that was the infancy of ShotIQ. So, as we progressed and he's trying to shoot that first 300, at that time, I know he's controlling his shot, so it was an equipment thing, right? It's just like you right now. You're at a 296, 295, 296. Yeah, but you don't need more practice in shot control.
Right.
You got to learn the equipment now.
Yeah.
Right? So that was me back in those days. I know what shot Bodie's going to shoot. And we just had to get the equipment right for him, and then finally, get him in as many tournaments as possible. He won Vegas when you were in the young adult championship
at 13.
At 13, right? And
Yeah,
so
that was
just
young adult.
Yeah, so just inoculating himself over
Very
and over
similar
and over.
story to that gal Paige Pierce. Where's she from? California, Oregon?
California.
California. I heard her a little bit on one pod, and she just her parents just drug her to all the tournaments or whatever, and then she started like Bodie just
Right.
winning everything, which is great. Okay, what I'm hearing, and you made me think of a question that I got to ask, is that Bodie, you've been exposed to a large audience, like you don't even know what really pressure is.
Yeah.
Kind of like pure genius on your part. Speaking of ShotIQ, I first heard of you. It might have been a Brian Call, like one of his very first podcasts ever, but it was Iron Mind or something
Iron
like
Mind
that.
Hunting, yeah.
When did you type out your documentation and like hit return and you're like, okay, this is my manuscript. This is my life's work. What year was that?
That was I started writing my first book in 2015. And that came out in 2016. That's when the podcast started. And that's when, because 2015 was the year that I got my hostage rescue. And that's where I'm like, okay, this is not just Joel Turner's opinion on how things work. So once that shooting happened, then I'm like, okay, this is the path. This is the actual answer. But even now, we're still learning. Like, what was I actually teaching back then? Back when Brian Call and I were sitting on Brent Hahn's back porch, and I'm teaching Brian Call how to, he still is a big deal, obviously, but he was a really big deal back then, right? It was kind of the start of the whole podcast and celebrity hunter type thing. And I told this story the other day. I taught Brian Call everything I knew to teach him in that one afternoon, and he was just flabbergasted on how good he was shooting until we went to the 3D course. When he was on the range, he was doing everything right. He was talking himself through the shot, but then went to the 3D course, instantly started punching the trigger again.
Uh-oh.
Right? And I didn't know that I wasn't actually teaching him the right skill. I was teaching him to talk himself through it, but why? Right? Why did I need to emphasize the conversation he was having? And I didn't have him say it out loud. And that's where we're at today, is in commentary skill building. Whatever you're doing, if it's throwing a baseball or catching a football or shooting an arrow, commentary skill building is so much faster. You learn so much faster, and you cut out all the crap when you shoot an arrow while you're teaching out loud. And it's just phenomenal. And so now that's what we do at the Elk Immersion Clinic. I do at my clinics. I have you shoot while you're talking. Not allowed to stop talking all the way till the shot breaks.
I love that.
And it just cuts out all the crap because you don't talk about your thoughts. You only talk what you're thinking.
Yep.
Right? And it's just been a real mind-blowing evolution of ShotIQ. And so that's where we're at today. And Bodie uses that skill, but I didn't know back then that it can't be born internal. It can't be born. You can't just figure out your conversation, your shot in your head, because you've still got the thoughts going on in there. But when you bear it external and you get the conversation down out loud first, then you can take it internal. When your conversation becomes easy out loud and you can talk like you're teaching, then you take it internal and you know exactly how you do what you do. And that's where the power comes in.
That's interesting. It's been cool to watch you. Like, I didn't know you, and then somehow our paths crossed. I'll never forget. We talk about all the time. The Tristan pooped his pants when I'm getting my first instruction on the deck back at our old house.
Right.
But that was the first time I had ever really had any instruction ever in archery, believe it or not. Now, it wasn't that long ago, man. Yeah. And I had maybe it was 6, but at the time I was using a index. Mm-hmm. And just pulling through the strap, like just that little thing was something. Like, you'd be surprised. Like, one little nugget for me is like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Right. Like the click. And I believe the biggest exercise that day, and I've still seen you do this at like Elk Immersion, is just watching yourself doing, like, literally pulling your bow back out here. Such a powerful drill to, like, oh yeah, okay. So that's pretty exciting. We'll come back to Iron Mind / ShotIQ / Turner method or model. God dang it. I freaking rehearsed this all day. Turner model. Okay. We'll get into that. So it's kind of like it's progressing. You're now working with professional athletes outside of archery. Right. And as you know, I'm a guy who, like, roots for my friends. Like, I'm so excited about Josh Jones opening another shop in Nashville. I'm pumped for him. Like, good for you, man. I'm pumped to see your success. Like, on Joe Rogan, friends with Joe Rogan. I hear him drop your name all the time on the pod. I listen to his pod all the time. I'm cheering for you, man. Like, I know you, and you're like, I'm like, yeah, that guy, hard work pays off. Same with you, Bodie. Like, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm like your biggest fan in the target archery world. Like, I love your composure on stage. And I think the last few years, these archery hosts like Lancaster and Vegas have done a really good job of actually, like, streaming. Yeah, for sure. Thank God. Because your sport, if we want to call it a sport or discipline, it needs eyeballs, I think. Yeah, for sure. Especially on your tournament starts Friday. Yeah. And you shoot through Sunday. Dude, you gotta, like, you have to stay in the zone for so long. You know what I mean? And there's just a lot of opportunity to check out or feel sorry for yourself. Or, like you were telling me in the next studio, you were like, I might change one thing, but I got to remember what I changed from, because it's date. You know,
there's hundreds of pictures on my phone of where my rest is.
Yes.
So I can always try and at least put it close to back where it was. Yeah. Just that way, if you do change something, you can put it back.
Okay. So what's your mindset going into 2025? Like, you're almost 18. February what?
5th.
February 5th, you turn 18. You're going to graduate high school this summer, right? Good chance you're going to, be a professional archer. Yep. Right? That's what you wanted to do. What's your out loud advertising goals for 2025? Like, what would you like to pursue? Hey guys, we're going to interrupt the pod, tell you about crossover symmetry. A lot of you are archers, bow hunters. Maybe you're into fitness like me. I tell you what, the last thing I want to do as a bow hunter is be on the sidelines because of a shoulder injury. We as archers, especially, we hammer our shoulders, especially if you're shooting 50, 100 shots a day and you do it every day. A lot of repeat overuse injury could be problematic for you, so I suggest investing in crossover symmetry. These are bands, and there's a protocol included that will help activate your shoulders before you work out, as well as injury prevention protocols. I recommend doing crossover symmetry 2 to 3 days a week. Use it as a warm-up or a cool down, or if you have a 5-minute lunch break and you have time, or you make time, do these protocols. Crossover Symmetry discount code is ELKSHAPE. It'll take 10% off. Get the shoulder kit. You can also look at the halo bands for your hips, strengthening your hips and your shoulders. These protocols have saved my shoulders for wear and tear and all the overuse that I do. I strongly recommend it. I stand behind it, and I'd love to save you some money. So head over to Crossover Symmetry. Check it out. Discount code ELKSHAPE, 10% off. Back to the pod.
I mean, definitely just be able to keep getting my name out there, keep competing well. That's going to be a huge part of it, just be able to stay at the level that I'm at. I mean, of course, I would like to win everything, but you can't really expect to do that. I just want to be able to do the best that I can for it, and most of the time that's winning or at least placing in a couple of those high-level shoots.
Okay.
For sure. At least that.
Think you'll graduate high school?
For sure. Yeah. Yep.
If his mom doesn't kill him first.
Yeah.
Who's more strict, your mom or your dad?
Definitely my mom.
Okay, good.
Yep.
How does that work at home, like behind the scenes? Like, because I've known you for a little while. Like, you're at school or whatever, but you do kind of seems like once you get out of school, like you're either, if it's hunting season, you're hunting.
Yep.
Like every day outside of school, right?
Yeah.
Or shooting your bow.
Mm-hmm.
What's that look like? What's your routine right now in the winter with Eatonville, right?
Yeah.
You don't have snow on the ground, I would
No.
assume. You guys just don't. Dog, get out of here. Joel don't like you. Sorry, fellas. What's your routine like when you get home from school?
Typically I'll just hang out for a little bit, and then I'll work on bows for a while, and then I might take a break, and if I have homework, I'll finish that up or do it that night. I try to shoot, especially right now, I try and shoot at least every day, if not a couple times. Shooting all depends on just what I'm needing to do. Like if I have a setup shooting really well, I don't need to shoot a ton. I just need to keep my stamina up. But if I'm not shooting very well, I'll put hours into a couple setups trying to get those to work.
Okay. So that makes sense to me. Like there are days where I'll be out back here, my bow's dialed, and I shoot like maybe 6 arrows, and they're all like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, peace.
Yep.
Then there's the days where like everything stops.
Mhm.
I'm not working out.
Yeah.
I'm not coming home. I'm not answering emails. I'm not answering a phone call or
Just
text.
shooting.
Something's wrong,
Yep.
and I'm not going to quit until this thing's back.
Yep.
Like my ability to shoot a bow and my bow shooting well for me dictates how good of a mood I'm in and how
Yep.
nice of a person I can be, or how terrible. Does that make
Yeah.
that should make sense to you? So you do have days where you're in the middle of a tinker sesh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I mean, a good shooting day, I might shoot a game or two. A bad shooting day, I could shoot 10, 15 games in a day,
when you say game,
which is 30 arrows.
and you said you could shoot 10 of those in a day,
10 to
potentially?
15. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'll
Like,
just
you're
go.
worried about stamina?
I mean, you can't. It's tough because you have to try and keep your stamina up to be able to do that. Of course, that takes a lot of stamina to be able to do that.
I'm just laughing. I shot a 12-yard game
Yeah.
in here and did some things. Then I went out into the gym and I did a half game.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, I'm probably shooting too much. I need to like,
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. That's funny.
yeah. Like,
Oh,
I
okay.
went and shot the other day. We shot North 40.
Yeah.
Just as kind of a little precursor round to make sure I was still doing okay. I shot 3 games.
That's cool.
And that was just kind of a warm up.
All right. So talk to me through like Lancaster, Vegas. Like, is it one game a day for 3 days in a row? Is it 2 games? Is there like, how does that work?
So for Vegas, you shoot over 3 days. So you shoot a qualifying round first day, second day, and third day. So that's 30 arrows each day for score. And then the final day, if you make it to the finals, after you do your qualification round, everybody who has a 900.
Yeah. Everyone should have a 900 by 3 qualifiers, right?
Well, I mean, probably
Not many do, but
probably
they
a
should.
sixth to a quarter of the people, if that.
Can you qualify to the finals if you have a 290 or a 599?
An 899.
I'm 899.
Yeah,
I mean,
899. One person gets in. There's the lucky dog, so you have to shoot. I think you have to shoot a 10, and then everybody will go pull. Like they have a whole line of like 150 people.
A lot of 899.
A lot of 899s get shot. I mean, it could be 100 people that shoot 899s.
dang.
So-
And then, so one person.
One person out of that whole crowd will get to shoot in the shoot off. So they'll shoot, I think it's a 10 first, and then the judges walk down the whole row. And if you miss, they tear your target down and throw it on the ground. And then they'll go to an X. Then you have to shoot an X. If everybody shoots an X, it goes on to the next one. If you don't, tear your target down. Next one, they go to an inside-out X.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you just have to bust. And is it new paper every time?
If you're smart, you probably should, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you absolutely just center punched one.
Okay.
Like if you shoot perfect X, like if I stepped up on the one that I just needed to shoot an X, just shot dead center inside out X, I would shoot that exact same target.
Right.
Because once you, like if I have a perfect hole on it, and then like I could hit the edge of the hole, and my arrow could still glance into the middle.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So, I mean, if I already have one there, I'll shoot it. But typically, I would just shoot a brand new
Let's talk about last year then. So last year, you didn't win the whole thing, but
yeah.
Going into you've done 3 games.
Yep.
It's Sunday. You're sitting with 900.
Yep.
And what was your X count?
Last year was the lowest by a handful. I shot at 80X last year.
Okay. I kind of don't know if that's good or bad. That sounds really good to me.
It's decent.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Does that give you an advantage if you had a 990X? Is there any advantage?
Not really.
So basically the slate's wiped clean on Sunday.
It's just X's are just for bragging points pretty much.
About how many people are in the final?
Usually 20 to 25.
Yeah.
How do they start getting rid of people? Is it one end?
So
Or is it...
So for the Vegas shoot off, first one you have to shoot a 10. So what? First you get a practice end, and then you have to shoot a 10. Anybody who shoots a 9, they're out. Then you go to X's.
Okay.
And then you just run X's through the whole thing. They might have to change it at some point because they went like
an hour.
Well,
2 dudes.
How many ends was it? 15? I thought it was closer to 20. It might have been like 17 ends last year.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
That's a game and almost a second game.
It's almost 2 games.
The bar has been risen. I mean, it is.
Yeah,
way higher.
that's not normal, right?
No. Like the
No.
year that I won it, we went 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I truly believe that the level of archery has risen. Because
Sounds like it.
People are now shooting scores, and Bodie's still at about the top. But these scores that he shoots, and there's a few others that shoot now, were unheard of years ago. So it's definitely come up. Shot control is now a thing.
Yeah.
There's a couple of punchers that are still good, but there's scientific reasons why they're good. And people still try to chase that. If they don't want to do a surprise break shot, they'll still try to go the punching end.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the folks that are usually not shooting a 900. So there's a couple of punchers that can shoot 900s and do really well. There's been Vegas champions that have been punchers. But overall, like, we can now see when those people are going to miss before they miss.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's shot control is a thing, and shot analysis is now a thing where if you really know what you're looking for, you can see the miss before it happens. And, you can start to not manipulate, but you can they know, because now that's been brought to their attention, they know as well. So all it does is increase the volume of their thoughts. And so ShotIQ can be used for you or against you.
Yeah.
So it's just, we put out there how it works. You do with it what you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's very interesting to watch others. And we know everybody's shot so intimately that when Bodie goes up against a certain person, we're like, okay, we just got to either hang in there, or we got to, maybe we have to go for the 12-ring early on this person to increase the volume of their thoughts because we know what they do in extreme stress. So it's a mental game, right? But we have defined that now. We know exactly how to play it. We know who the players are. We know what's going through their head. We know how to increase the volume of their thoughts, and we know how to increase the volume of our thinking. So major advantage.
For those that maybe watch the ASA shoot-offs or maybe these indoor finals, show the camera, for those watching on YouTube, like what you're talking about, because I know I'm like literally picturing, I'm not saying names, but I've seen them like, you know what I mean? Where like even the announcer will be like, oh,
yeah, right.
Oh, like he almost,
yeah.
And what is, like, they're about ready to punch the trigger, and then
Right.
like what happens? The pin moves and they just like.
So usually, they're timing it. Like if they're going open loop on a trigger, you will see, like if this is the trigger, you'll see their thumb on a good shot, it'll actually come against the trigger.
Okay.
And then you'll see this, the same every time.
Yep.
Boonk. Well, you can tell that if it stops in the same place every time, it's not actually a surprise break. And those are the good ones, right? Some people you'll see will come around the trigger and they don't even touch it. Pop, right? And it goes off. But when they don't touch the trigger, like when their thumb comes around slowly, you know that the volume of their thoughts is louder than the volume of their thinking, and that's where they let their subconscious take over. And there might be a 0.5 millimeter more space in between the trigger and their thumb. That opens up a huge array of pre-ignition movements that are going to be linked to their trigger motor program. So when they go, ooh, it's not just that they do that. There's other things that are happening. There's a micro collapse that happens. There's maybe a slight twitch in the hand in the front that is linked to it. The way Bodie shoots, the way I shoot, it's a surprise break. We do not know when our bow is going off. We have a window that we like the bow to fire in, our accuracy window, but we don't truly know when it's going to go off. And you'll see that in the follow-through. The follow-through is not a movement. It's just something that happens. So you can see these different styles of shooting, and the surprise break keeps coming out on top. So because we don't have pre-ignition movements, because we don't know when the bow is going off, therefore your subconscious can't time it. So overall, in the big scheme of things, we believe that's the most accurate way to shoot a bow. Now, there are folks that, like I said, that are good shooters, that are punchers, but they're of a very specific personality.
Yeah.
So if you're not of that personality and you think you're going to go the punching route, well, you're going to be stuck lower than you potentially could be.
Interesting. Bodie, when you won 2 years ago,
Which one?
the Vegas, the big dog.
Yep.
Did you get one of those Happy Gilmore checks, like a big check with your name on
Yeah,
it?
I have a handful of those.
That's cool. All right. When did you learn about taxes?
That year. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, that's cool. So we talked about your career goals this year. You want to just be up there. You want to basically have really good performances, and wherever you end up, but you want to be dominant.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe my word's a little bit dominant, but that's truly
for sure.
You want to be very competitive. You want to be on your A game. What about the East Coast versus West Coast? Like, we don't really have an ASA type vibe on the West Coast, which bums me out because I love 3D.
Yeah, it's cool.
What when your schedule allows you, do you have intentions of hitting that circuit up?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Because, I mean, there's kind of two circuits you can pick up. There's the ASA circuit, or there's the, I guess, World Archery circuit where you shoot 50 meter.
Mm-hmm.
Not a huge fan of 50 meter. I shoot it well. I went to one last year and won it.
Okay.
I just don't overly enjoy it that much.
I like media. So I've seen ASA media.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot more.
If I just miss I'll scrub through it and I'll watch some of it and then I'll get to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really love the way that they do it, but I'm not in charge.
Yeah.
You know? Now, I'd like to make the course, I'd like to design a course and make it a little more, I think
challenging.
It would do well for you. I've seen you shoot out in some crazy shots, but yeah, that'll be a good opportunity to make some money.
Yeah.
And to get some partnerships and whatnot. Speaking of sponsors and partners, can you really be sponsored before you're 18?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Once you are 18 though, do you feel like, okay, I'm ready to make a career, or are you going to wait till you kind of graduate high school to kind of like deal with that business side of stuff?
I'll probably start to consider a lot more contracts once after indoor season, after I'm 18.
Uh-huh.
I'll probably end up signing them later in the year, but start talking with people after indoor season most likely.
Okay. That's cool. All right, guys, we're interrupting this podcast. Tell you about Canvas Cutter. This is an awesome bedroll system, especially for the DIY mobile elk hunter. I've spent plenty of nights next to my truck sleeping in my Canvas Cutter. It has an awesome memory foam that is super comfortable. You can also pitch it up like a tent if you want. Deploys in seconds, and a lot of times I'll be changing my elk hunting location in the middle of the night. I don't feel like setting up a tent. throw out your canvas cutter, get an awesome night's sleep. It is water resistant and it's lightweight and it's a no-brainer. You can take it with you on your hiking, camping, or if you're crashing at a buddy's place. It's just a nice seamless bedroll system. Discount code ELKSHAPE will take 10% off. Back to the pod. Well, that stuff's kind of fun. One thing I respect about you is that you've always just picked whatever you think's going to give you the best opportunity to win.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of people doing that, man.
No, I mean, it's so many people go after just specific contracts, but I mean, for me, I find it most important to win overall. So if you can sign a contract that you might get less money guaranteed, but I'm going to win more tournaments, like if I have another $25,000 in my contract, but I'm winning another $150,000, $200,000, I'd much rather have the bow that I have a better chance of winning with.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I mean, contingencies might be a little bit less, but it doesn't really matter if you win 3 more shoots than you would have with this bow.
Sure.
I mean, overall, that's what I find most important to me is being able to win. Because, I mean, if you're winning, you can be relevant. People, you can stay on top. The longer you can stay on top, the better contracts you can have later.
Sure.
Because, I mean, you can't be on top forever.
Right.
I mean, all these guys that weren't touchable however long ago, they can still have the same contracts that the guys at the top because their name is so well known and how popular they are. They don't even need to win anymore.
Yeah.
They can just show up to a shoot and still be the most popular one there.
Okay, that makes sense. It's crazy that you understand that at your age. That's great. Good job, parents. I mean, I think you got a good head on your shoulder. I think the parents have done well. I really mean that. And I think do whatever you can to just focus on archery and hunting.
Yeah, for sure.
Shooting bows.
Yep.
Money's going to chase you if you just stay passionate about archery.
For sure.
Which is awesome. There are a lot of people that potentially have a job that they don't love, potentially have a job that they did for X amount of years, and then one day they're just like, you know what? I'm going to do ShotIQ full time. Peace out, law enforcement. How many years were you, Leo?
Just shy of 21.
Okay. Obviously, there's some retirement benefits once you cross over that 20 mark as a state employee.
Yeah.
But obviously, you could have gotten better. I forgot the term of that, peers or something in Washington, but
Yeah, we were on a we're on left 2 system, but yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, you could have stayed on, you
Sure.
didn't, you chased your dream. Let's check in with Joel. How's it going working for Joel Turner? You know what I mean? You're no longer punching a clock.
I'm a great boss. I give myself as much time off as I want to hunt. Being a law enforcement officer was awesome, and that job is what led me to where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I wasn't a cop and wasn't forced to figure out how to control myself in high stress, I don't think we'd be here today.
Yeah.
So I owe everything to that particular profession. But it was this young man right here, winning Vegas, that gave it the relevance.
Thank you, Bodie.
Yeah,
That's pretty
thank
freaking
you
cool,
for
man.
allowing me to retire. Right. So, we had the online course in place since 2016, and he won in 2022, and that bumped the sales up enough and got the clinic requests enough to where I'm like, I'm losing money. I'm driving around a patrol car as a patrol sergeant, SWAT team leader, all the cool stuff in law enforcement, but I was not having the impact that I wanted.
No doubt.
The impact that I knew I could have.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Right? So now it's just chasing impact, and that's why we keep evolving with this training and moving it into so many realms of life. And now we've just got massive impact, and it's so flattering for, sitting in an airplane that's about to take off and somebody walks past you now and gives you a fist bump.
Yeah.
Complete strangers, So, hey, saw the podcast or whatever,
That's
so
cool.
It's flattering to me, and I love it. I mean, all the thank yous that we get from the Elk Immersion clinics, like, hey, I got my first bull this year, I used your techniques or whatever it may be. That is huge because that person came to that immersion clinic not knowing the primal skills that we were going to teach.
Yeah.
And it's primal skills. What we're teaching, how to work on your equipment, how to find and kill a game animal, a specific game animal, just knowing everything about that thing, knowing how to control yourself in high stress, knowing how to get better in physical fitness so that you can get up that mountain. These are primal skills. It's what we are all seeking, right? And one thing that I find fascinating is men have these primal urges, these primal instincts to hunt and provide. Women don't necessarily have that. But the women that are out there that are hunting, they have to manufacture that. So sometimes it's even stronger than the men, right? Because they have to manufacture that instinct because it doesn't necessarily exist in the human genome. So it's awesome when we get ladies to these elk immersion clinics and they're like, yeah, we're going to go kill an elk. And we're like, hell yeah, lady.
Yeah.
Exactly. You
Sarah
are.
Gamache, she came to one.
Right.
And she's had so much success.
Yep.
And sometimes I don't know if she's a girl. You know, she's quite the fierce. She's a predator.
Yeah.
She's a legit hunter, huntress, whatever you call it. Like, mad respect to her. I will say this. We've done... So Joel has this clinic, so if you own an archery shop and you want to draw a crowd and you want people inside your four walls, you need to get him booked. But are you already booked all of 2025?
Almost, yeah.
Okay, so check. Do you have... How does that... Is a website... How do they get a hold of you? Just if they want to book a clinic.
Yeah, ShotIQ.com.
Head over there,
Or just
especially
DM
archery
me or
shops.
whatever.
Like, get your customer base some instruction from Joel. It'll change it'll get them excited about archery again, which will benefit your bottom line as well, but also your long-term customer relationships. It's really that simple. Joel, you're a phenomenal teacher. I do not enjoy teaching alongside of you. And I've said that to like many of our audiences. I'm
Sure.
like, you're a great instructor.
Thank
But then if you want to maybe try our elk immersion, we had these great ideas of doing 2 or 3 or 4 a year. I don't see it happening with your clinic schedule and his shooting schedule and how much you guys hunt. Me, hunt, YouTube, Josh, 2 archery shops. For
Right.
us to align our schedules. So what I'm saying, guys, is there's only one elk immersion in 2025. And we have not really been advertising it because we've been busy, but the last one sold out really fast, so we didn't think we would need to. Right now we have spots available. It's coming up at the end of
March.
March. What we did different for 2025 is a lot. We had 3 days last year and it wasn't enough. So we made it 5 days, which is crazy that we're all going to be in the same town for 5 days straight. I'm looking forward to that part. We're starting camp off with something you're pretty good at. We're butchering a cow elk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we've all done that. We did that at ELKSHAPE camp back in the day in Texas. Have you done that Lampers' stuff?
Yep.
He's done
Did
some.
a bison there, yeah.
A bison, that's pretty cool. We did a nilgai.
Yeah.
And now we're going to do an elk. And we'll have Mike Edgehouse over in Post Falls. He's a butcher. We'll have him over. We'll split the groups up, stroke for stroke. We'll have that meat deboned, and we're going to eat on that elk the rest of the week.
Perfect.
That's pretty cool. How to start off with, see this? This is what you're working towards. To be someone who can do this and put this in your freezer. And this is the part we hope you get to. But there's a lot of work you need to do between now and then, which is cool. Then the next day, and we're feeding people this year. Did you know we're flying in a chef from Tennessee? He gets
Very
here
good.
on Thursday before the camp starts so he can shop and do a bunch of food prep.
Cool.
And then the camp starts Saturday afternoon. We butcher an elk, and we go right in on Sunday with... We changed it from last year where we spread out everybody working on their bows to like, no, everybody at camp is fixing their bow, doing you're going to tinker or whatever you're going to do today. You're going to learn all that today so that we are focused on Joel the next day. So that's going to be 15 stations, 2 instructors per station. I don't know how that's going to work, but we're all hands on deck.
Yeah.
You, even me, knuckle dragger here. We're going to help these guys put new strings on from gas, get their peat, everything installed. It's going to be pretty intense.
Oh, yeah.
And the nice thing is there's usually a group of 3. There's the first guy who kind of knows a little bit, so we let him go first. The other 2 watch. The instructors are help. By the time that last guy goes, who didn't know anything about working on his own bow, he's got a pretty good idea, and then he gets these hands-on reps. You know, 2019 was the first year I decided to work on my own bows. I wish I would have started sooner. I picked up a bow in 2001. When did you first start working on your equipment?
I started working on my equipment in 1992 when I started working at an archery shop when I was 16
What's
years
the name of
old.
the shop?
It was,
Was.
Archers and Anglers, yeah, and then it was Rainier Archery, and then, yeah, and that was the last shop I worked at was Rainier Archery in Puyallup, Washington. But yeah, that's when I started.
That's smart.
1992.
That's smart, man.
Yeah.
How old was I? I was about 11, 12.
Oh, there you go.
So you might be older than me.
I'm definitely
Or
older.
maybe you were
than
11 or 12 when you were at the art shop.
I was 16 years old. It was my dream job at the time.
I think I'm pretty jealous. I wish I
Oh, it's so good.
got a chance to grow up in an art shop a little bit and learn all that. But no, I started later in life, but I'm here to tell you guys it is the way.
Yeah.
To be able to tinker your way through a problem, diagnose it, fix it, and have confidence and understand. Bodie, when did you start kind of getting some momentum on being a really good bowsmith, mechanic, tinkerer, like understanding everything about a bow?
Probably a couple years ago. That's when I really started doing deep dives on all my equipment.
That's cool.
So that way I understood it better.
And then you won.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a causation or correlation to that at all?
Well, I was able to know what I was trying to do with my bows and what, like, maybe adjusting a poundage or adjusting a limb bolt, not the other one. Just all kinds of stuff that can kind of make that slight adjustment to help me in my competition. So just learning those little tiny things and what they do to the bow is huge.
I agree. So we're going to empower these guys. The goal is for them to really understand and work, get the reps.
Yeah.
That's day 2. That's a lot of work. And we're going to feed them again. So chef's going to be there for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and they're camping on site. We just want everyone there 5 days. You should leave with some lifelong friends. Anyway, so day 2, we got the bows fixed. Day 3, I believe, is when we start rotating stations. So one group will be with you.
Yeah.
One group will be with Bodie and Josh. One group will be with OnX and Huntingful.
Cool.
And that's a lot of stuff going on there. What are you going to do with on your day?
So my day, you'll start out by shooting in front of me. And for some folks, that's nerve-wracking. For some folks, it's not. But I'm going to try to increase the volume of your thoughts to a point where you fail. Your thoughts get so loud inside your head that you let me get in there. And you're probably going to punch a trigger. If you come to the class knowing that you're going to punch a trigger, you're going to punch a trigger. And if you come with shot control, we're going to test that. And then once we get that shot out of the way and you have this very recent event that just happened in your mind, then we analyze it, and then we learn the science of what just happened to you and how we're going to fix it and how we're going to leverage the ultimate skill of the human being, right? The ability to get loud in your head with the right words at the right moment. So I'm going to teach you how to get loud. I'm going to teach you the right words and the right moments so that you can control any archery shot anytime. And it will be very powerful. It's a very powerful day for people because it's what they've been searching for their entire life. In maybe not just archery, but when you were talking about, it's the way to go, right? Shooting a bow. Well, that's how we've been able to figure out everything else. That's how I'm able to walk into a room full of the Philadelphia Phillies pitching team and go, you guys don't know how you do what you do. And they're like, who are you? I'm like, you don't know how you do what you do. And coaches, you've never asked them the right questions.
Yep.
Right? So now you get to learn how you do what you do from archery, which is the tippy top of human concentration. For you to control an archery shot, especially in high stress, man, it's just shy of impossible.
Yeah.
But we're going to teach you the path on how to do it every time. So you don't just leave this immersion clinic ready for next season or this upcoming season. You leave it ready for every season for the rest of your life because you know how you do what you do.
Yeah.
And you blueprint it. So why wouldn't you do it again? It's so powerful, man.
It is really exciting to like think about these guys when they'll be there day 1 through day 5. It should be transformative, and it should make archery more exciting for some old timers that show up. We have a lot that about ready to quit archery. And
Right.
You save them from themselves. I'm not kidding. It can be very frustrating to have target panic or whatever you want to call it, and you anticipate and you can't group and you have nerves. And there's lots of reason why a lot of guys just can't get an elk killed. They can get to the last part and get a
Right.
shot opportunity, and they
Yep.
just blow it.
That was me.
And then, yeah, I know. For how many years?
13 years.
Okay. And then there's a lot of guys that, just don't know how to get to that part. They maybe could shoot a bow pretty good, but they could not get close to elk or find elk on public land. That's where we have that whole team come in, where Jared Lyle and his team is going to sit down this year and break down everyone's individual hunt portfolio. They're going to explain to you how many points you do or do not have, what tags you can draw in the near future, which tags you might draw in 3 to 5 years, and then what tags you may draw once in your life, and that's it. You're out of the game on that. That's a huge part of elk hunting. And I don't want to talk about this, but I had 4 elk tags in my pocket this year. That's not a mistake. There's a real strategic way for me to do that year over year and at least have an elk tag. There should never be a year where I don't have an elk tag.
Yep.
And I don't want just any old elk tag. I want pretty good elk tags or decent ones. And you should be able to know what I know and more. And what I know is from reading and researching for 20-something years, every state's proclamation and playing the game. I got points in every state, and I'm still learning. There's so much to know about how to secure an elk tag. That's important. Also, the e-scouting. I looked at all the people that are signed up so far. Very few are West Coast. Very few are going to have the opportunity to actually put boots on the ground with these tags that they do draw or buy. They better become pretty proficient at using Onyx, Google Earth, tilting the 3D, and looking at a map and understanding how to work through a unit. Did either one of you hunt any elk units this year that were brand new to you? You'd never been there before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My tag was.
Did it look different in person versus on X?
Yeah, there was a lot of little nooks and crannies that held elk that we didn't really think or didn't know would.
But we found them with sound.
You did. That's good. And that's another thing that we'll talk about in a second. I'm trying to finish up this Elk Immersion is so big. What are you and Josh going to do? Josh was thinking about, so once everyone's bow set up, having a station with you and Josh, and Josh is there to assist you. What is it that you're going to work with these guys on?
So Josh, when they rebuild their bows, he's going to do all the big stuff. And then I want to do a deep dive on all the little things. Like one huge thing is I want to teach people how to shoot in their third axis on their sight, which if you don't know what that is, you will if you go to the immersion clinic. Like that, in my opinion, is one of these most important things on a sight, is being able to do that. Because say you sneak up on a bull and he's at like 40 yards at 30 degrees down. If your third axis isn't close, you could shoot that thing by the back ham and just have no idea. Like I heard a story of a guy this year, he snuck up on a big buck and shot it in the butt 3 times because his third axis was so far off. I mean, that's something that like 90% of people have no idea what it is. They might have seen it on a manual, but they have no idea what it is. And it's such a huge part of having your setup where it should be, because you don't want to like sneak up on that bull and not know where your arrow is going to hit if you're shooting steep uphill or downhill. That's a huge part, and especially hunting in a lot of places that elk live, they can be really steep. So you want to have that third axis to be set, and then I want to be able to kind of do a Q&A as well, to where people can ask me questions, and then I can tell them how to work through it or what they can do. They can ask me about equipment stuff, what I think's best, what I think works best. If they want to mess with stabilizers or hold, just all those little things, I want to be able to work through people or work with people on that.
And I've shot with you enough to know you're pretty damn observant.
Yeah.
So if there's something that you see that you don't like or you want to know why, you're going to ask that. They better have an answer.
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
I think that's invaluable. We're also having Tristan, who started that little precision cut archery app. Have you guys messed with that yet?
I haven't, no.
I strongly encourage you to check it out. You can print dope tapes depending on, elevation and even wind cut charts. I don't know how accurate they are.
Yeah.
But I've done some sight tapes on his software. It's awesome. He's coming out to print everybody's sight tapes, which is cool. I think he's going to bring a Lab Radar and a Garmin and be able to do that. So we'll just be able to quickly print out sight tapes so people aren't messing around with that.
That is cool, yeah.
I'm excited for him to come out, and I hope it works out for him too. And then in the evenings, we have a few lectures. We have a guy coming out giving a glassing seminar, and Josh knows the details on that. I don't. I'm going to do pretty much mobile elk hunting / pack dump one night. Joel is going to do the Turner model elk calling.
Gosh, it's so good.
And that'll be great because you'll have everybody there,
Yeah, that'd
undivided
be really
attention. And they'll really get to listen to your lecture on, hey, this is not my I love when you say this. This is not my opinion. I believe this is to be science. This is observable, repeatable. This isn't based on anything else other than just facts.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, man, honestly. And even though I talk smack to you at camps and be like, I don't know, I've seen it work, not work. I do think what you're presenting is to be arguably one of the most, I don't know how to say this. If I had a playbook and I had all these plays in there and I got a guy who's maybe never killed an elk or maybe killed one elk one time and he's looking for continuity, I would say,
it's so simple.
follow Joel's playbook and you will have the opportunity. You should maximize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just biologically correct.
Yes.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Biologically correct makes it very simple. You know what they're saying. You know what you are saying to them. You know who they're talking to. You know who you're talking to. You know exactly what you are saying to them.
Yep.
And you don't give them any options. They have to come get you.
You are also eliminating two sounds which most hunters make these sounds, which could help differentiate your sound.
Huge difference.
And I don't want to share too much, but just that alone right there, if you're paying attention, if you removed the two sounds that I'm talking about out of your repertoire and went to this guy's playbook, I would like to see what happened for you, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's a huge night.
Yeah.
We're also bringing in, so Phelps Game Calls is sending their guy who won the World Rocky Mountain Elk, the thing you've won a couple times, the World Elk Calling Championship.
Yep.
I call it the World Synthetic Elk Sound Championship. The winner of 2024 is coming to our camp to teach these folks how to make sounds. Joel is going to teach you what sounds to make and when so that an elk will step out broadside. And then we'll have the Phelps team coming down, teach you how to make these sounds.
Very cool.
We should charge a lot of money for this.
Yeah.
This is 5 days, and you should basically be able to leave here with a bunch of life skills. We raised the price from last year. It's not for more profit. It's just, well, we have a chef now. We have more days.
We got Bodie Turner now.
We got Bodie Turner, and damn it, that's not cheap. You can camp on site. You can Uber from the airport and be dropped off and be good to go for 5 days. I don't know if we'll have showers available. You're camping. You're not going to shower every day when you're elk hunting unless you're Joel and you're going to go in the creek.
There's plenty of
the
rivers
creek
around.
will be running this year
plenty of
in
rivers
March.
around. Yeah.
I will try to work on a shower, but we'll have your accommodations as far as like a place. You got to bring your stuff, tent, whatever. We'll have some shelters that you can borrow, but we're not providing sleeping bags and cots and neck massages at night. None of that. We're providing you food and knowledge. So come hungry for that, and we can provide that. And the link's on ELKSHAPE. I'll leave a link here. I'm excited about that. We haven't advertised for that at all.
It's going to be, like I said, it's primal skills. It's what people are looking for. And they leave here with just so much more life power, right? And just back to Bodie for a second. He is the master of bow stabilization. Like, he will figure out how to get that thing to hold however you want it to hold. And he also is a master of on-site modifications. Like, you get to your hunt and your bow is not shooting where it should be. You've only got one sight tape with you. You got to make that thing work. He is the master of making that thing work on site, whatever elevation, temperature, whatever it is. That is priceless information.
That's pretty perfect.
Because you get to that hunt and your stuff's not shooting. For me, it's easy, right? I'm shooting bare bow. But when you got a sight and all those accoutrements on your bow, this young man right here will square you away on how to modify real time on site, and that is priceless stuff. I've seen him do it a million times because he has to do it for every tournament.
Yep.
Right? Every tournament's at a different elevation, different state, different place. Your bow is not the same, and the level of precision that he has to have is very difficult to achieve, and he's able to achieve it instantly. He knows exactly what's going on with your bow, with his bow, able to change things slightly, and then it's on money. They're like, oh man, how are your sight tapes so good? Well, there's tricks that Bodie Turner has that very few people do. So, and this is all stuff that he has figured out, not from the old man, because I'm slinging sticks with a longbow, right?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is stuff that he has figured
This
out.
is stuff what happens when you have 50,000 hours, not 10,000, shooting a bow.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that he rattled off, I play like 10 to 15 games on a bad day because
Yeah.
that's 1,000 something arrows in a day.
Yeah.
I've never shot 1,000 arrows in a day. Have you?
Probably.
That's crazy.
I'm sure I have.
All right, guys. Well, let's finish the pod. I'll try to plug you guys for you. Okay, here we go. Joel Turner, ShotIQ, would probably encourage pro shops watching in the background right now at your shop. You may be playing this. Book him for 26 or 25. It will be a return on your investment. It'll get your community shooting better and being excited about it. And when you have your customers excited, they'll be at your place more, and you'll see a return on your investment.
For sure.
For those that message me all million times now, like, what should I do? ShotIQ. Yeah, go do the online ShotIQ playbook. Do it. It's, I don't know how much the price is.
$247
$247.
for life.
Oh, and you have it.
Yeah, you have it. You have all. When I do a new module, you have it. You log in again, you have it.
Okay, or don't invest in yourself and get frustrated and quit. And then the other thing is, besides the clinics, you're doing sports teams now and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So before Joel's too big of a deal, book him up, guys, or whatever. I don't know how long you'll say yes to doing these elk immersions, man. Like you got the Phillies and what all professional sports organizations have you worked with? MLB.
Yeah, MLB. I've dealt with individuals that are in just about everything. So
Every
PGA,
sport.
all that.
You've touched
stuff,
all
yeah.
the sports,
Yeah,
bigger, yeah.
yeah, and it's just growing more and more.
That's good. I mean, like I said, I'm stoked for you, but just make sure you get to go hunting.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
Yeah,
What? Back to your whitetail. How did you film that whitetail
that
shot?
was just a GoPro.
But where did you put it?
Oh, my head. Yeah, so
It was
just,
on your head?
Yeah, just slight angle.
Yep.
And slight down.
Yep.
And so I really liked the view of that bow.
It was
and
great.
being able to draw that. I figure out that the microphone on that thing is crazy sensitive.
Yeah.
People are like, put felt on your wrist. I'm like, there's felt on my freaking wrist, right? Because it
Yeah.
sounds like, nails on a chalkboard.
My
when you
action
draw it
camera
back.
is insanely good at picking up
And
sound.
yeah, it's so cool. I love watching that. And you get to see when I can slow it down, you can see the flex of the arrow. And
Do you know what
it's
your
so
frame rate was?
good. I don't.
I didn't think you would, but it turned
Sorry,
out
man.
great.
Yeah, it
it turned
pretty
out
cool.
great. BodieTurner.com at Bodie_Turner on Instagram.
Yep.
And what's the name of your YouTube channel that you're going to start for me in 2025? Come on, big dog. Come on.
Probably be something around Bodie Turner Archery.
You should do it. Definitely. The day you do, you let me know. You will have more subscribers than me ASAP, and I will help you. I will make sure of it. Your success is my success. Rooting for you. You should do that. You got a big tournament season coming up.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to do ASAs this year?
I might try and catch maybe one at the end.
That would be
but,
cool.
Yeah. I'll have to see if
beg
it
you to
lines
do
up.
one to get exposure.
Yeah.
Because next year, you're not going to be in high school.
No.
Look out.
It's going to be great.
Look out, fools. What else? What else are you excited about? I know you love hunting.
Yeah,
so
hunting
you got
season.
spring turkey,
Spring turkey, spring bear.
spring bear in Montana.
Yeah.
He's a Montana resident as of today.
Congratulations.
Yep. And then hopefully spring bear in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? They always start earlier than us,
Mm-hmm.
and they kill some really big coastal old bears.
Yeah.
Like they start like April 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jealous. What else?
Um,
How you looking on elk points? You can be back in Montana?
Yeah, I'll have good elk tag next year again. Then I have good mule deer properties that I'll be hunting this or next
What's
year.
it like having your old man call for you and bring
It's good.
every elk in your lap?
It's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, but here's the best part about it. I don't worry about Bodie as far as like missing or is he
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
So like I can sit back and do a breeding scene and Bodie I'm like, go kill that thing.
Yeah, like that.
That's cool.
And I know he's gonna go kill it.
You're just
You know,
waiting for the sound.
all I wait for is the meh, meh, right? The old double cow mew, and then I know, oh, he must have just killed that thing.
Yeah.
I walk up there and it's like, it's always, man, I smoked him. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's what we did this year on that one in Montana. That was fun.
So good.
Getting a stock in on him.
Yeah. So the people that I get to call elk for, my payment is Bodie's elk tags.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. He needs to experience what I have been able to experience in the elk woods.
Yeah.
And people should be jealous of that. That's pretty phenomenal.
This is the Turner family. And guys, thanks for watching. Smash the sub. I will put a link to Joel's website and his Instagram. Same with Bodie's. These are my dudes. Come to Elk Immersion. We have spots available. Can't wait to meet you all there. Separations in the preparation. We'll catch you on the next one. Hey, guys. Taking a break from the pod to let you know about Crispy Boots. They're out of Salt Lake City. They're all made in Italy, and they have a variety of boots to suit your hunting needs. I typically land somewhere in the flex rating of a 3. The flex rating system is unique to them, so where you can look at a boot and pick the stiffness based on the terrain you're hunting. So if you're going steep and deep, maybe in Wyoming or in Idaho, look for a flex rating of around 4 or 5, especially for those side hills. You need a stiffer boot. Now, if you're more like a spot and stock kind of guy and you're heading out on the prairie chasing antelope, maybe doing some sagebrush mule deer, check out the Laponia 3s. Those are going to be around a 2 or 3. My 2 top favorite boots typically are going to be the Colorado 2s. Those are a flex rating of 4. Or the Summit 2s, which is a flex rating of 3. They fit like butter, they feel good, and they last long. These are made in Italy, so head over to Crispy or head over to ELKSHAPE's website to learn more.